so glad to be here this evening. Thank you guys so much for joining in on this call. The amount of people that you have on this call tonight is absolutely mind-blowing to me. That just proves that there are some incredible things happening all over Africa. We hear a lot about the things that are happening in West Africa. Guys, do not sell yourself short. There's some incredible things happening in East Africa and Southern Africa. I've gotten to meet so many incredible people over the last few days. And I love that Drew has it in his mind to get me over to East Africa. I would love to hug you all. So I just wanted to chat with you a little bit tonight and tell you about a philosophy that I have for really my life, but also a philosophy that we used in building our business that I hope that you all will see a little bit of yourself in this. So first of all, we did start as distributors. So I feel like I am a spy for all of you in the corporate office. And then I feel like I'm a spy for the corporate office when I'm in the field because I don't really feel like a member of the corporate office. I feel like a distributor at heart. So I love getting into the field, finding out what it is that you all need to grow faster and bigger and be bolder, and then take that back to the corporate office and try to make that happen. What I love about what you all have here in Southern Africa and East Africa is you have someone with the exact same heart, and that is Drew. He is a spy as well, and we're on a mission to get you everything that you need to grow as big and as fast as you guys want. So, one of the philosophies that I have in my life is I believe that the good Lord packs our backpack with everything we need for our particular journey here on earth. So, whatever it is that is our mission, whatever it is that I am supposed to do while I'm here on earth, I believe I have that strength and I have that talent packed in my backpack already. I don't believe that we were sent here to achieve some mission that we're not prepared for. So I mention that because that is actually how I ended up at Neolife. My husband and I had built an incredible business. And when that business went away, I found myself doing another job in another industry. And when I laid my head on the pillow at night doing that job, I was not fulfilled. It didn't fulfill me the same way it did when I was building a business in direct sales. Because when I was building a business, just like all of you, I used everything in my backpack every day. For those of you that are building, you know that. You use all that you have because this is not an easy thing to do, right? So I've brought a Neolife backpack here with me tonight. And I wanted to share a few things, 4 things actually, that I had in my backpack for a really long time that did not serve me well. There were 4 things that I carried around in my backpack on my, direct sales journey that was holding me back. It was dragging me down. So I want to tell you about those 4 things. And then I want to share with you 10 really quick things that you want to have packed for your journey. So the first thing, actually, it's going to be 5 things that weigh your bag down. How about that? So the first thing that weighs our bags down in Neolife is actually really Neolife specific. So I kind of want you to virtually raise your hands, if you don't mind, if you love our products. Now I want you to virtually raise your hands if you love the science behind our products, right? There's so many people that do. So one of the things that I believe in life is I believe that for every strength you have, it can be used as a weakness. I believe that there is a light and a shadow to everything. So nothing is just all good. Nothing is all bad. And one of the things that we have in Neolife is we have the best products I've ever seen. We have the greatest science that I've ever seen. Now, that is a great thing. That's a lot of positivity. But it also turns out that it's something that we struggle with, specifically here in Neolife, because when you first got started, you didn't know anything about Neolife, right? Remember that. But you were so excited. You were so full of passion that you told everybody about it. And wouldn't you know it, people got started, but you didn't know all the science. You just knew that you tried a product, it worked, and then you told people about it and they got started. It's so weird how that happens, you know? But then you dove into the science, you dove into our SAB, and you decided you wanted to be just as smart as Dr. Susan Beck, right? You wanted to know everything that John Miller knows, right? And so you went and enrolled yourself in Neolife University to where you decided that you were going to learn everything you could about these products, which is not inherently a bad thing until you keep yourself and you trap yourself in learning mode. Because when you are in learning mode, you can't be in sharing mode. It's very hard to be enrolled in Neolife University and learning everything that you can and turning around and sharing at the same time. You know, there is something called the curse of knowledge. And I think that gets a lot of us here in Neolife because we start learning everything we can about these products. And then we shove all of that knowledge into our backpack. And before we know it, our backpack is too heavy to pick it up and share with other people. We know too much all of a sudden. It is something that I see a lot here in Neolife, and it's because our products are so good and because we love the science. What I want to encourage you, though, is not to get stuck in learning mode, but to stay in sharing mode. It's great to learn more about our products as long as you don't stop sharing along the way. And as long as your backpack doesn't get too heavy to share with other people, because that's what this is all about. Okay, so that's the first thing that goes in your backpack that can drag you down. It can be too heavy. Okay, the second thing that I used to carry in my bag that didn't serve me very well was a blanket. Now, this blanket is great if you are on a 16-hour flight into South Africa from the United States. I definitely needed a blanket for that. But we don't need a blanket for our business because we're so full of fear. You know, we like this blanket because it's comfortable, it's safe, it's familiar to us. So I think a lot of times when we're building this business, we do get afraid. We get afraid of failing. I think a lot of times we may not admit it to ourselves, but we're actually afraid of success. Because what if this business actually works? And then what if I mess it up? Or what if I have everything that I need to succeed here in Neolife and I'm just not doing it? Like that's scary to know that I have a vehicle in my hands that could change my life and I'm wasting it. You know, there's a lot of fear in building this business. So it's natural to want to wrap up in a blanket, stay protected. But I want you to know that it's impossible to build your legacy hiding under the covers of fear. So we have to recognize this for what it is. This is an excuse designed as protection. An excuse, fear, designed as protection. So we're going to have to shed that. We're going to have to get up, get moving, and get uncomfortable. So we've got to take the blanket out of our bag. Okay. The second thing that I had in my bag that was not serving me well was tape. Now, this tape for me was used to go right over my mouth and keep me silent. Because when I got started, I thought everyone knew more than me. I thought everyone else had skills that I didn't have. So I was scared to talk to people, right? I thought that I didn't know enough to share products with other people. So I kept my mouth shut. But what I want you to know is that in our business, silence is sabotage. If you are not speaking to other people and telling your story, how are they ever going to know about Neolife? If they've never heard you speak about Neolife, how do they know that this is your business? Right? You have the skills already because there are no prerequisites to this business. Anyone can do it. If you're on this call tonight, you already have a story. And if you're joining me this late at night in East or Southern Africa, then I know you have the passion. So if you have the skills and you have the story and you have the passion, your better future is not on the other side of some expensive degree. Your better future is on the other side of a conversation. But we can't have that conversation if our mouth is closed. So let's get rid of the tape. We no longer need that. We're better than that, right? Okay. The next thing that I had in my bag that was not serving me very well was a blindfold. Again, this is really nice when you're on a plane, but you don't want this when you're building business because when you're building your business, you need vision. How can we go somewhere on purpose if we don't know where we're going? How can you go somewhere if you can't see where you're going? How can you build a business to your better future if you can't see it? You know, some of us on this call are working so hard, but we're working hard without clarity of where we're going. There are people all over the world working their neolife business that are hustling, but they're hustling without direction. So they're spinning their wheels. Their business isn't going anywhere. So what I want you to do is I want you to take the blindfold off. I want you to set a vision and I want you to walk toward it like you mean it. Once you can see where you're going, you are so much more likely to get there, right? So it's important that you set a vision. Okay? Get rid of the blindfold. Number 4, handcuffs. Now, why handcuffs? Because we restrain ourselves in this business. You know, no one put these handcuffs on me when I was building the business. I put them on myself. And I think that's what's so powerful about recognizing it is because some of you are in chains today and you have the key in your own pocket because you're already a member of Neolife. You're already a distributor. You already are in the vehicle of Neolife, but you're still holding yourself back. You're still restraining yourself. So what I want you to know today is you have the key. It's not anyone else that's holding you back. And that is a sobering fact. You know, when someone else is holding us back, then we can blame them. But when we are restraining ourselves, it's on us. So it's sobering to know that we are the problem, but it should be empowering to know that if you put yourself in these handcuffs, you can also get yourselves out, right? You're stuck in self-doubt and you're stuck in your old habits and you're stuck with your limiting beliefs. Telling yourself that you're waiting on a breakthrough, right? One day I'm going to break through. But in reality, you're not waiting on a breakthrough, you're waiting on permission. And I want you to tell yourself today that you do not need anyone else's permission to unlock your potential. You have the key already in your pocket because you're already a part of Neolife. So if you hear nothing else that I say today, I want you to take the handcuffs off and I want you to stop sabotaging yourself. So let's get rid of those handcuffs. I'll hold on to the key so I don't lose them. Okay, those are the things that I had in my bag that were not serving me very well. Now, I would like to talk to you about the things that you do need in your bag. There are 10 quick things that you need to pack in your backpack for the journey to success. Okay, so the first thing that you want to have in your backpack are your running shoes. So, the reason that we need running shoes in our backpack is because success is not going to come to you if you are at home waiting on it. Success does not come to those who wait. Success comes to those who get out and go after it. And we have to lace up our tennis shoes, lace up our running shoes, our trainers. I'm not sure what you call them in Africa. We have to lace up our running shoes and go get it. We have to lace them up and be disciplined enough to put on our running shoes every day. Now, this business requires a lot of discipline, but success is not going to find you if you are not disciplined enough to get up and run for it every day. Okay, so we need our running shoes. Next up, we need a flashlight in our bag. Oh, yeah, that's good. I'll just spotlight you. The reason you need a flashlight in your bag is to illuminate the path that you want to travel. It is to shine the light on where you want to go. There are many times when we're building this business where you feel like you're in the dark. There are many times in this business where you feel like you're alone. And a lot of times, all we need to do is turn the light on. And not only are we not alone, we can see so many people around us that are also stuck in the dark. But when we turn that light on, we can see the path. We can see where we want to go and we can get there easier. But by turning our light on in the dark, it also illuminates us so that other people can see us. So yes, it illuminates the path of where we want to go, but it also can help you draw others out of the dark. You know, I believe that we were called to be a shining light on a hill for people here on earth. I believe that we need to put a flashlight in our backpack so that we can shine that light of hope. And when people are stuck in the dark and they don't know what to do next and they don't know where to go, they can see our light and come to us. And they will know that we are prepared to help them get where they want to go. So pack yourself a flashlight. All right, next up, we have a map. Now, this map is not going to help you in Africa. It's a map of my hometown in Virginia in the United States. But the reason you need a map in your bag is because it is essential that you have a duplicatable plan to get where you want to go so that when people get started with you, you can open up this map and you can show them how you got to where you are today. You can show them how you went from needing extra money to being financially free. You can show them how when you got started on products, you were in a bad place health-wise. You can show them where you started and how you got to your better health. It's essential that you have a duplicatable plan to get there because this is a process. And I think a lot of times when we get started here and we start leading a team, we try to get real fancy. You know, like we try to get really fancy with the way we do things. We want our own website. We want to create an app on the phone. We want to have our own meetings at our house and not plug in to our uplines meetings. We want to get fancy. And I think getting fancy is a kiss of death in this business because we don't need to focus on being fancy. We need to focus on being followable, having a duplicatable process, having a system for success. It is duplicatable. Someone can follow you with using this map. Someone can follow you using our success system. The other reason that I think you need a map in your bag is I relate making your list to a map. And here's why. I believe that your list is the most essential tool that you need to build your business to as big as you want it to go. Because your list is your working capital in this business. Your list tells you who you're talking to now and who you're going to talk to next. So it makes it to where you know where you are and where you're going, just like a map. So think about this. If you wanted to go from East Africa to West Africa, or for the Eastern United States where I live, to the Western United States in California, where the home office is, if I wanted to make that trip, I could get to California from Virginia without a map because all I have to do is go west for a long time. But I could get there. You could get to West Africa from East Africa without a map. But what are the odds that you could get exactly where you wanted to go with no map without ever making a wrong turn? It's not going to happen. What are the odds that you could go exactly where you wanted to go without ever getting distracted by one of these beautiful mountains that I see outside that window, or a beautiful ocean, a beautiful river, or some of your vast wildlife, like there's so many amazing animals around you. What are the odds that you never get distracted and you make it exactly where you want to go without getting distracted and without any wrong turns? 0%. That is why you have to have a list. You have to have a list to get you from where you are today to where you want to go. Because if you have a list of people, you'll know who you're talking to now and who you're going to talk to next. You'll know your next turn. So even if you do get distracted, you can come right back to your map and get where you want to go. So pack a map, a duplicatable system so that you can help other people get success, but also pack a map for yourself, which is your list that's going to help you grow your business so that you know where to go. Okay. Number 4, you are going to pack some tissues in your bag. The reason that we're going to pack some tissues is because, let's be honest, this business is not easy. And we absolutely are going to be told no. And I don't know about you, but I hate being told no. I hate it when people ghost me and they don't write back. I hate it when people tell me that they are going to do something and they never do it. I hate it when people quit on me. Actually, I hate it when they quit on themselves. I hate it when people say hurtful things to me and say hurtful things to my friends. So you're going to have to pack your tissues to wipe your eyes when your feelings get hurt around here and when people disappoint you. But I want you to know that it is okay to release the tears because that's normal. It is normal for people to say no. It does not mean that you're doing this wrong. No. The top earners in neolife are not the most talented. The top earners in neolife are the least distracted and the ones who've gotten the most no's. So it's okay to get a no. It's not okay to quit because you got a no. So we need tissues for that. But I also want you to know that you're going to need more tissues for the celebrations. If you have been doing this business for any amount of time, then you have helped someone achieve a goal. And I get really emotional every time I talk about this, but When I got my first message that said, Ashley, you've changed my life. My husband finds me attractive again. It makes me cry thinking about it. Because the truth is, I'm sure her husband always found her attractive, but she felt attractive once she got healthier, right? The second message I ever got said, Ashley, you've changed my life. I'm now the mother I've always wanted to be because I've got the energy to run around with my kids and I'm not parenting from the couch. You're going to need tissues for the celebrations. You're going to need tissues for those people on your team right now who've never been on a vacation when they get to go to Egypt with you next year. Can you imagine the tears of joy when you get to take them on their first vacation and it's paid for by Neolife? Those top earners we were talking about earlier, the ones that are the least distracted and the ones that have gotten the most no's, they've also had the most celebrations. So pack your tissues for the no's, but pack your tissues because, man, those celebrations are unlike anything you're going to get in a regular 9 to 5 job. I've worked a lot of jobs in my life, and I've never had job satisfaction like this. So pack your tissues. Okay, next up. Sorry, guys, I cry every time I talk about that. It's no joke, every time. Next up, pack your hammer. Now, this one's always funny when we're in person because it kind of scares people when I pull out a hammer. But I want you to know I brought this all the way from America, but I did check it in my bag. I did not take this in my carry-on, so we're all safe. But you're going to need a hammer, not for building your business. You need a hammer for breaking through. There's going to be a lot of breakthrough needed when you're building this business because you are going to have to break out of your comfort zone. You are going to have to break out of the doubt. You're going to have to break out of those self-imposed limitations. You are going to have to break through fear. And sometimes that fear is stacked really high. And it is brick by brick built so well. It's really hard to see around that fear. If you can't see around it, you're going to have to break through it. What I want you to know is that every level I achieved in this business, every level required growth. And every level of growth required me to shatter who I was in order to become who I was meant to be. I had to shatter who I was to become who I was meant to be. The person you are today cannot accept the calling on your life tomorrow if you want to grow. If you want to stay the same person you've always been, great, 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 that's fine. But for me, in my house, we want to grow every day. I want to be a better person today than I was yesterday. I want to be a better person tomorrow than I am today. And in order for that to happen, I've got to shatter everything about me today so that I can build myself back up and grow for tomorrow. So put a hammer in there, building that business, breaking through the fear. Okay, next up. Oh, goodness. I took this out of my bag last night because my feet were cold. Sorry, guys. Spoiler alert. The sixth thing that you need in your bag, I just took off my foot, are some socks. And my really fuzzy socks that I have in my bag, I took out of my bag last night because I was freezing in my bed. You guys don't know this, but in America, it is really hot because it's our summertime. It's not hot in South Africa, and I was freezing last night. So I took my socks out. So we're just going to have to use the ones that I'm wearing right now. But you need to pack in your bag socks for when you get cold feet. Now, no matter how long you've been building this business, you're still going to get cold feet. Even if you are a president's team member, doubt is still going to creep in occasionally. You're going to second guess yourself often, and you're going to be fearful. You're going to get nervous when you're talking to people. But it is essential that we're brave and that we're courageous and that we push through the cold feet so that we can give the person in front of us an opportunity to change their life. You're not going to be the person to change their life, but you can be the person to offer them the opportunity to change their own life. And I don't know if that's something that we draw a line to often enough, but we're not looking for people that want a handout in this business. There are plenty of people all over the world looking for a handout. They're looking for something free. They're looking for something easy. The people you're looking for in this business are the ones that want a hand up. You're looking for people that want to work to change their life. And that actually rolls right into my next point. But let me just say this before I move to my next point. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it is action in the face of it. So pack your socks for the cold feet. But back to, I kind of gave myself a good leeway and I had to go backwards. But we're looking for people that want a hand up, not a hand out. We're looking for people that want to work because in our bag, we also have work gloves because this is a work program. The legitimacy that that sentence gives to winners around the world is powerful. You know, my husband is a winner and he's also very skeptical. So when we first saw this business, he was very skeptical when people told him that you could just get started here and make a lot of money because that's too easy, right? That's too good to be true. He did not believe anything that anyone said until someone told him this is a work program. This will take hard work. As soon as he heard that, he knew that this was real. And it is, because this business is not easy. And if someone recruited you by telling you that it was easy, they lied to you. Because nothing worth it is ever easy. Think about your marriage. Think about your school. Think about your job. Think about raising your children. Is that easy? A no. Is it worth it? Yes. So there's a saying that goes around that says this. When your why is big enough, the how becomes easy. Let me say that again because my poor translator, I know I'm talking super fast. When the why is big enough, the how becomes easy. I do not believe that. I believe when the why is big enough, the how becomes worth it. Let me explain to you what I mean. If your children were trapped in a burning building, would you go in after them? Absolutely. Is it going to be easy to run into that burning building? No. But will it be worth it? Yes. That is our business in a nutshell. If you find your why and it is big enough, you'll find a way to do it because the how will be worth it. But if you're looking for easy, this is not the business for you because anything worth it is going to be difficult. This business changed the legacy of my family. It changed everything for my family. We went from being in debt to being able to afford to put our children through college. My daughter is in college in Barcelona, Spain. My son starts college in Alabama in the fall. I have two kids in college, and we're able to afford to send them there, not because of the job that I have today, But because I said yes a long time ago to this industry, my yes a long time ago changed the legacy of my family forever. If you have already said yes to this industry, you have had what I call your start date. You have said yes and you've started Neolife. But I want to ask you a little bit later today, have you gotten to your decision date yet? I'm going to talk to you about that in a minute, but just remember that you've already had your start date, but have you gotten to your decision date yet? Okay, so work gloves, because it's not easy, so put those in your bag. Next up, it's very similar, but we need to have some pain medicine in our bag. I know we're Neolife. We don't take a lot of medicine. It's just an illustration. Nobody come after me and try to get me fired. But I put pain medicine in my bag because growing pains are not just for kids. It is going to take stretch and struggle to build this business. You are going to be sore building this business because all worthy things are hard. This is going to be hard, but the pain that you feel is a sign of growth. Have you ever not gone to the gym for a while and then you go back to the gym and you're really sore a couple of days later? But it's the type of sore that lets you know that you did a good thing. That is what you'll feel here at Neolife building your business. It's going to hurt. You're going to be sore. You're going to have to stretch. But you only catch flack when you're over the target. It only hurts when you're doing it right. In this business, when people are coming at you and they're calling you names and they're asking you, why are you doing one of those things? When people stop talking to you, when you lose friends, when they hide you on Facebook, that is painful. But remember, you only catch flack when you're over the target. You're over the target if those things are happening to you. If you're getting no's, you're talking to people. If people are ghosting you, it means you're talking to people and you're over the target. It means you're getting closer to where you need to be. You're doing the right thing. So maybe a little pain medicine for when it gets real tough. Okay, number 9, we're almost through. Thanks for hanging with me. Number 9 is a mirror to check yourself. So the checking yourself piece of this puzzle is essential because how many people, you can raise your hand and tell me how many people have ever been caught staring into the computer, hoping that your numbers are going to change in the back office. You're just staring at those numbers, waiting for them to change, hoping someone puts in an order. I call that the neo stare, where you're just waiting for something to happen. When you get caught doing the neo stare into your computer, you have turned your mirror into a magnifying glass. And you're looking into your downline and you're trying to figure out where the problem is. When in reality, that magnifying glass needs to be a mirror. And you need to look yourself in the eye and ask yourself, what am I doing? Because this is a highly duplicatable business. This business will always be, your team will always be a reflection of you. If you work hard, they're more likely to work hard. If you get caught doing the neo stare, they're more likely to get caught doing the neo stare. Duplication is inevitable. So make sure that you're doing something worth duplicating. And one quote that I would like to share with you at this point, when we're talking about working with our downlines, or it's very hard when someone on your team comes to you and they say, I don't know why my business is not moving. But you know that their business isn't moving because they're not doing anything, right? At that point, it's very difficult to tell someone that you love and respect that their business isn't moving because they're not doing anything. right? So I want to share a quote with you that changed the way I lead, and it changed the way I behaved when people came to me and wanted the truth. So the quote is this: if you give me truth without grace, I can't hear you. So if you give me truth without grace, I can't hear you. But if you give me grace without truth, it won't change me. If you give all truth and you're rude and you say, well, your business isn't moving because you're lazy, they're not going to hear that. But if you give them all grace and you say, you're amazing, I love you, you're doing the right things, just keep doing it, it'll happen, and you know that that's not the truth, then you're giving them all grace and it won't change them. So you have to be a person who leads with truth and grace. And I think it's really important to dial that in this business. And then the last thing that we need to put into our bag are our sunglasses, our neolife sunglasses. If anybody takes a screenshot right now, I look ridiculous. So I'm going to take these off. But we're putting our neolife sunglasses into our bag because I want you to know that the future is bright. You know, I get to talk to Kendra almost every day, and great things are happening all over the world of neolife. Great things are happening in East and Southern Africa. I want you to know that Kendra has committed that every dollar we spend are going to go to making sure we are a world-class company in every aspect. Great things are happening here. And you need to look for those great things. Because if you're only looking for the negative, you will find it. If you're only looking for the bad, you'll find it. But if you look for the good, you'll find it. And if you look for the good, you can be the good. Because excitement is contagious, but confidence is also contagious. And you have to be excited in this business, and you have to be filled with confidence about the future and about how bright it is in order to do the great things and to keep your team properly motivated. So all the things that I talked to you about this evening are essential to have in your bag to be prepared for your journey for success. But being prepared is not good enough. I want to ask you a question. There are 4 birds sitting on a branch, and one decides to fly away. How many are left? You can pop it into the chat. 4 birds sitting on a branch. How many are left? I'm sure 3. Okay, someone said 3, right? It makes total sense. 4 birds, one decides to fly away. How many are left? But I saw someone else knows where I'm going with this, right? Just because one of those birds decided to fly away doesn't mean that it ever took flight. You remember earlier when I said you're all here because you've had your start date? Your start date was the day that you signed up to be a part of Neolife. But have you had your decision date? Have you decided that this is the day that I am going to change my life? Maybe. But have you had your declaration date? Because I decide things all the time. You probably decide things all the time. Have you ever gone to a training with someone that was not me, but someone that just inspired you to make a change in your life? And you said, I'm going to do this Neolife thing. I'm going to do it. And you decided you were going to do it that day, but then you never did it. We've got to stop making decisions and start making declarations. We've got to get into action because we all have a vision that's up here, and our action is usually right about here. And there's a tension point between those two things, your vision and your action. That tension is going to be pulled one way or another. And what we usually do is we lower our vision to decrease the tension. when in reality, what we need to do to decrease the tension is increase our action. You know, there are people on this call I know that want more out of Neolife. And I do not believe that you're not getting more because of a lack of knowledge. Your leaders in this area are out of this world. I would do anything Drew McDermott told me to do. If he told me to jump off a cliff, I would know that he has something to catch me down there. I trust him implicitly. And he is so good at this business. He is literally one of the most learned men in all of Neolife. And you have him at your beck and call all the time. How lucky are you? So, I don't believe that we are not seeing success individually because of a lack of knowledge, because I know Drew is teaching you well. We have a lack of success because of a lack of action, not a lack of knowledge. We've got to increase our action instead of decreasing our vision. 5 words can change your life in this business. Massive action solves all problems. Massive action solves all problems. So ask yourself, what is in your backpack? Do you have excuses or do you have essentials? Is your bag packed to weigh you down with doubt? Or is your bag packed and armed with the tools to do what you want to do with this business? I hope you are armed. I want to encourage you to trade your handcuffs for your running shoes and to get busy in this business. And I'm just going to ask you some questions. If you say yes to these questions, you can do this. If your answer is yes to these questions, you have everything you need to do this business. Can you check yourself in the mirror? Yes. Can you lace up your shoes and have some discipline? Yes. Can you light the way for yourself and others? Yes. Can you grab your map and follow it? Yes. Can you wipe your tears? Yes. Can you grab your hammer and break through whatever it is that's holding you back? Yes. Can you do it scared? I sure hope so, because it's a scary business. Yes, you can do it scared. Can you roll up your sleeves and get to work? Yes, we are hard workers. I tell you what, this country, harder worker than my country, right? You are known for having grit. Do not sell yourself short. You can roll your sleeves up and get to work. Can you push through the pain? Yes. If your answer was yes to all of those things, then all you have to do is put your sunglasses on because the future is so incredibly bright for you and your community. So thank you so much for your time this evening. I appreciate you. I hope I get to meet you all in East Africa soon. Thank you so much. I'm going to turn it back over to Drew. Thank you so much, Drew.